Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's Bev. I'm back with another wonderful, exciting episode of my blockbuster book, Gezebel. So here we're gonna be into chapter 26. So you know how I do it. I like to dive right in without a whole lot of unnecessary chat. So let's go to chapter 26 and let's see what I can bring for you today. I hope you're enjoying this. Let's go, chapter 26. This was the first time Joy had ever witnessed the impoverished ghetto where Kendrick lived. Her eyes darted nervously around the neighborhood as she observed bareback young men gambling and chatting with each other in gaps and street corners. Gezebel tried to steer the SUV into the narrow gap where Kendrick lived, but it was too big. She resorted to parking on the side of the street in front of a pink chattel house, chattel meaning wood house. A dreadlock woman that wore red, gold, and green Rastafarian scarf around her head peeked out the window to see who was parked outside. She noticed a stylish young woman exiting the shiny vehicle and construed they must be visiting someone in the area. The dreadlock woman poked her head out the window and offered to keep an eye on the car for a small fee. Joy thanked the woman and gave her a $10 bill. Gezebel led Joy by the hand through the winding gap until they reached a dilapidated gray house where Kendrick lived. One of the one of the stray dogs she encountered on previous visits was resting under the shade of an ackee tree. The animal raised its head and wagged its tail to greet her. Shoot, I hope that mangy dog doesn't bite me. He might have rabies, Joy stated apprehensively. She stepped carefully on jagged rocks, bridging the pathway from the gap to the house. Joy prayed she wouldn't break her ankle and treaded precariously in platform shoes. Don't worry, he's harmless, Gezebel reassured her friend. The dog wandered lazily over to them and sniffed their ankles. The animal yawned and stretched its pockmarked body before returning to the shade provided by the ackee tree. Okay, this is it, Gezebel informed Joy and pointed to the gray house. You're not serious, Joy exclaimed in an implausible manner when she saw the house. I told you he was piss poor, Gezebel hissed at her friend. You weren't kidding, Joy snapped. She stared at the huge slabs of rocks thrown together with chunks of concrete blocks that serve as the foundation for the home. Gezebel had already informed Kendrick she and Joy were on their way to his house. This was a good omen to Kendrick because it meant his relationship with Gezzy was back on track. His mother straightened up the house and anxiously waited for the girls to arrive. She was delighted that Gezebel was bringing a friend. She hadn't seen Gezebel in 2 weeks and questioned her son about Gezebel's scarcity. The woman was so elated by the news of the impending visit, she turned on the radio and danced to a jig of calypso music. Kendrick, this is it, my boy. You gonna make this thing work for we. We gonna get out of here and live in the parks and terraces. Kendrick, this is it, my boy. Make this relationship work so we can get out of the ghetto and live in a fancy neighborhood. She sang at the top of her lungs in a jubilant manner. Well, let's continue. Moving right along. Joy, welcome to my humble abode, Kendrick announced brightly. In his mind, he cursed his impecunious roots. His home life was a vast contradiction to the flashy image he portrayed at the fitness club, and it shed light on his desire to make easy money. Sit down and make yourself comfortable. Mummy, this is Gezebel's just best friend, Joy, Kendrick stated graciously. She's so pretty. What one of this do to make when a skin make your skin look so good, Bo? In plain English. She's so pretty. What do you girls use on your skin to make it flawless? Kendrick's mother asked with envy. Uh, soap? Joy answered sarcastically. The smell of poverty unnerved her, and she looked down on Kendrick's mother for not being able to speak the Queen's English. So Joy is also a very rich girl that grew up with Gezebel. So whereas Gezebel doesn't care, Joy does. Oh, Kendrick's mother replied slowly. Joy's blunt response made her feel foolish. She wanted to kick herself for being so simple minded and not able or capable of speaking proper English. The woman quickly formed an opinion of Joy as a stuck up snob. Moving right along. I'm 6 weeks pregnant with your child, Gezebel replied coolly. Well, here we go. What? Girl, you have the wrong man. Mrs. Kendrick, Gezebel, we haven't been together long enough for you to get pregnant. That kind of stuff takes years to happen. And what about the disappearing acts you've pulled? You might be pregnant, but it ain't mine, Kendrick avowed and rejected the idea of a baby. The only man she was sleeping with 6 weeks ago was you, Joy fumed at Kendrick. Look, Kendrick, I'm not thrilled about this either. It's not exactly an honor to carry your seed. Jezebel quit. Oh, yeah? You seem to like the honor of receiving it just fine. How come you don't answer my calls at night, woman? I know you've been giving it up to someone else. Tell me who he is, Kendrick yelled viciously and grabbed Gezebel by the arm. Get your hands off my friend, Joyce screamed at Kendrick. She balled her fists, prepared to pummel him at any moment for her friend. Shut up and mind your own business, Kendrick hollered at Joy. Trauma. Let me go, Gezebel yelled and wrenched free from his grasp. Don't you put your hands on me, she shouted in a defiant voice and shoved her forefinger in his face. You know how we girls do. Kendrick backed away. He put his hands up in the air with palms facing forward, furious with himself for acting like a jealous lover. Kendrick, what are your intentions as far as this child is concerned? Gezebel demanded. Why don't you find the real father of your baby and ask him the same question? Kendrick scoffed. Gezebel was incensed. The grayish pupils of her eyes resembled the clouds of a Category 5 hurricane. She lunged at him, clawed his face with her sharp nails. Kendrick grabbed her wrists, and Joy jumped in the fray. She pummeled his muscle back with her small fist, and Gezebel kicked him in the knee. Kendrick buckled in pain. Gezebel was about to knee him in the groin when his mother rushed into the living room and forced her sizable bulk between them. She swung her backside forcefully against Kendrick's stomach, and he stumbled backwards from the powerful thrust. Oh boy, you know those hefty black women with those big butts. Boom! Kendrick's mother listened maliciously to the heated discussion and couldn't be happier. Stop this fighting in my house. All this and call for what happened with winner? I left winner in here good, good, good. In plain English, stop fighting in my house. This is not necessary. What happened? When I left, you were all getting along. Kendrick's mother lamented in mock ignorance, pretending she didn't hear what she heard. And she knows the girl was pregnant for her son. So she's happy. I'm pregnant and he's denying this baby is his, Gezebel informed his mother heatedly. For true? You having my grandchild? In plain English, for real? Are you having my grandchild? Kendrick's mother implored Gezebel and held her breath. Gezebel remained silent and refused to answer. Kendrick's mother pursed her lips and fixed smoldering eyes on her son. Kendrick, I raised you better than this. You must take care of your responsibilities. She ain't make this child by herself, you know. In plain English, Kendrick, I raised you better than this. You must take care of your responsibilities. She did not make this child by herself. His mother admonished him and tried to be a voice of reason in the midst of drama. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm enjoying this so much, it's ridiculous. Mummy, I don't have money to support a child. We're living paycheck to paycheck. Mm, a child would prevent me from getting what I want out of life. She can do it alone. After all, she's the one with the money. Her family owns a hotel. Kendrick shouted at his mother. He ran his fingers over his scratched face, and his knee hurt. Gezebel was humiliated by his harsh words and punched him in the jaw. She winced in pain because her knuckles got bruised in the process. Ow! Kendrick howled and balled his fists. He was determined to inflict a few blows of his own to Gezebel, but his mother stood protectively in front of her. I ain't gonna stand here and let you hit she. You gotta come through me. She carrying my grandchild. In plain English, I will not stand here and let you hit her. You will have to come through me. She's carrying my grandchild. Kendrick's mother stated in an alarmed voice and blocked him with her impressive bulk. Kendrick was outnumbered and defeated. So that's all today, folks. I could go on and on and on. I'm already 13 minutes into this video. I've already read too much. But go on out and buy this book, Gezebel. See how everything else pans out. And I'll see you in the next chapter. I'm having way too much fun. Okay, bye-bye.